Thank you very much for staying here on Joy News and on News Desk Kamini Nyamani Amana. Now, the Kayaye menace in Ghana too many times has turned into a major political slant that politicians easily take advantage of to win votes. Many politicians seeking political office would usually give hope to these young women who serve as head porters in the various cities across the country. But then nothing happens afterwards. Ironically, most of them are yet to enjoy specific government initiatives or policies that could lessen their plight as head porters. With me in the studio, a lady and a gentleman. To my far left is Rhoda Ayana. She is CPP National Vice Chairperson. Rhoda is very worried about this trend, and we'll talk to her about perhaps how we could tackle this. And then to my immediate left, there's Samuel Ahokuli, who is a human rights activist, and they both joining in on this discussion. Thank you very much for joining us here on News Desk. I'm going to start off with you, Samuel. You people deal with a lot of these. What exactly is your stance on the situation here? Yes.
Yeah, our stance has been asking government to curb this particular menace. The onus lies on government in particular, because no individual can do it. And over the years, we've realized that successive government has failed in this particular regard. And as of now, we don't know the way out for these people. When we look at the national social protection strategy, it hasn't mentioned these people at all, even though we have some social intervention programs that's supposed to curb this particular menace, but not directly. So we are asking government to actually put in place a mechanism that will actually address this particular menace.
But Rhoda, these girls are working, aren't they?
I don't know if you call that work. I don't call it work.
Okay.
If someone has to leave the comfort zone and come to do such hard work, you know, live under such terrible conditions, I don't think that we should call it work. So we should not institutionalize Kayaye. That's the first thing. We have to find other ways of keeping them in the north.
Amnesty has described this as a human rights issue. Tell us about it.
Yes, the people have the right to move in the country. There's right to movement, and they can choose to come to Accra to work, and they can also choose to stay in the north and work. Yes, but we are looking at governments trying to put development in the northern region. The issue of Jida and Sada solve these problems, but we have heard how these initiatives have come to the fore in terms of how it has been riddled with corruption and misappropriation of funds. So what we wish that it addressed, it has failed. And we cannot say they shouldn't move to Accra. We are all Ghanaians. The right movement is there for everybody. They can move. But what measures are we putting in place to solve the problem of Kayaye?
I have spoken to some of these girls, and they come down not because things are terribly wrong up north with their families or something, but they want to come down here, make some money. I actually spoke to one of them who tells me she's a hairdresser up north, but she wants to come down, make some money, and go and buy some tools she'll need for her business. In that instance, you are not able to tell if this girl really wants help to move from the streets, or she's come to hustle for her own hustle's sake.
No, you see what happens is that let's look at the north. It's a savanna zone. We all know that agriculture is the main thing. Now, if you have young people, first and foremost, they are getting younger and younger now, those that are coming. They're supposed to be in school. Now, they can't pay their school fees. They can't be looked after by their parents. And the situation is such that there is nothing for them to do in the north. And therefore, they find themselves here. Now, when you meet some of them, I've spoken to a few of them, they would wish that they were in school. Some are school dropouts. Some have just come also because some other people have come and gone back with a few things, and they feel that we can go and also make some money. But the issue at stake now is that when governments start to want to institutionalize Kayaye, now that is a worrying problem. Because when you look at a situation where one faction of our political divide will say, let's give them hostels. What are you giving them hostels for? Are you going to move the whole lot of them from the north to come and put in those hostels? And then another one says, let's give them LEAP. You understand?
Right.
For how long? How long are you going to be able to give them leave? I feel that we have to look at this thing long term.
Right. You have, both of you have had some interaction with these girls. Do they want to be helped to move off the streets?
Definitely. Definitely.
Because sometimes we have the impression they are happy making the money.
They're not happy. They are happy because they are now able to buy food for themselves. They are happy because they can now take money and buy a piece of cloth for themselves. That's why they're happy. But I don't think they're happy sleeping in those conditions, being raped, not having money, no medical care, and yet we, at the end of it all, every year, we put them in a room, feed them with 1 pack of food, and think we've done something to help them. We've done nothing.
Samuel, rather. Yes. I like to call you Stella, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. Yeah. Samuel, with the stance of Amnesty International, the fact that this is a human rights issue and we seem to be violating it, trying to institutionalize it because these girls are getting fees for the service they provide. We've looked at the North, the fact that things are not too good in the North, but we've tried to do things with the North, and yet these girls are coming down. What can we do more to make sure that our young girls stay there? What can we do more to make sure that they're not coming down here? And they are very prolific when it comes to giving birth. Before you know, they have a lot of children. And so what can we do to make sure that they'll have their children, then their children will have a better life?
You see, they are prolific when it comes to giving birth because people have taken advantage of them. They have become vulnerable. Imagine somebody sleeping in a kiosk around Circle, and then one of these girls, I have a place, come and sleep with me. I'm sleeping outside. So what happens?
You go. Yes, you don't have an option.
But my problem is that we have failed to develop the North. The right to development is a basic human right as well. And we've not been able to do that. When are we going to do that? When are we able to do that? Because some of them, when they come to Accra, that's their first time they've seen light. Their first time of seeing light is when they come to Accra. Because light is not there. For some of them, you understand. And for me, I've always stated that the education is very important when it comes to the community education. Community centers where these people can be educated. Drama, plays, can be done, can be acted over there to tell you that when you move to the south, this is what happens to you. Some of them go to Accra and come back to North with mobile phones, and their friend get jealous and they want to take them there. I have spoken to one who told me that she came because the friend brought phone. She said life in Accra is very nice. When you come to Accra, you see light, there's TV everywhere, and she was happy, so she followed up. Later she got to realize that no, this is not the right place for me to come, and she wanted to go back to the North and do something.
So Rhoda, I'm happy you mentioned the fact that this has become a political gamble. One person is saying this and then the other is saying that. What are the major policies? What do you think, policy-wise, we could do to make sure that these girls get a better life?
I would want to suggest that we don't lump the whole country into one. When you're going to do development, you do it according to the needs of each district or region. But we seem to lump everything. So when we start things, like for instance, we're going to build senior high schools, government is intending to build senior high schools. I don't think at this moment probably the North will need that many senior high schools. We need more vocational schools, more technical schools. We need better classrooms and teachers. We don't even have teachers. You're going to build schools with no teachers. Nobody even wants to go there. The infrastructure is not there. And if you look around and you look at the number of people who are coming, apart from the very young, we have the elderly coming. And the elderly are coming here because there is no form of work. We need to open up the North. We need to create a very conducive atmosphere for investors. And the government can do that by first and foremost giving tax holidays to people who are coming in here to invest. And it's about time government puts a foot down and says, look, Accra and the rest of it is choked. Move up. Volta region, Central region, Western region. We all have other regions.
Would it be that easy for the government to do?
Yes. You know what? In the UK, when Wales was far behind, they made that a thing. Tax-free. Go in there for, I think, so many years. And it encouraged people to go, because it was a very, hostile terrain. Now it's working. government should be able to say, look, if you go in there and you identify, because we should recognize the fact that agriculture is what is going to save this country. And that place is very fertile. We have very low-lying land. We have a people that are ready to work. We have the cost of living that is pretty low, which means that if we put in a little effort to get them to work, people would work.
Because I'm thinking that for any business fellow, if there is no purchasing power, then it will be difficult for that business fellow to set up. Yes. How do we deal with that as well?
You know what? When you talk, if you're talking about purchasing power, I can assure you that we buy things more expensive than Accra.
Okay.
And when you get to the north, you buy a bag of cement for close to 30, 35, 40 Ghana cedis. When it's going in the south for 24. You understand? But we're still able to build. And if you look at the way we run our markets, you realize that a lot of money goes into our markets because we have all manner of things. That's where the groundnut is coming from. That's where the yam is coming from. That's where the tomatoes is coming from. So you can just imagine the amount of money that goes around there. The only unfortunate thing is that the indigents do not have that money. The money is coming from the outside. So if you're going to look at consumption of certain foods, for instance, just look at the mineral industry like soft drinks. Who are the people who drink a lot of these soft drinks? You'd find them in the northern regions. But do we have a Coca-Cola manufacturing firm there? No. So what if somebody should come now and say, I want to put up a Coca-Cola or another drink factory? You can say, look, this is a place for you. You see, we have to let the districts also work. They must identify certain places and certain projects that would benefit.
Yes, I was thinking same that
they must identify.
Whichever business is to set up there would then have to consider the lifestyle of the people.
Yes,
because if you set up a business they don't need, they cannot afford in the first place.
No, but sometimes you don't have to look at the business in the sense that I'm going to set it up and for the indigents. You can set up a business that will be for other people. I keep saying that if we had a good industry running there, and we had, say, let's say the processing industry, if you had groundnut oil there, you'd sell it in the south. If you had groundnut paste, you sell it in the south. Beekeeping, honey is something that can be exported. Have we explored it? We haven't. Now we are told that we even import sesame seeds from Burkina Faso. When sesame seeds can grow very well in the north, what are we doing about it? Now we have cotton. Our cotton industry in the north is gone down, and we are importing all manner of things from other countries. The whole thing is that government has not put in place the right things to get these people working.
You have something to add to that just before I pose my question.
As a sister was saying, we as a country has failed in terms of prioritizing what is best for us. First things first, we do not do that. We as a government always fail to do that. As I was saying, we can move a lot of companies to the north. The north is a very prime place. When it comes to irrigation, I know they have a problem with that. How can government do that to help the people in the north? The sesame seeds issue, the cotton issue. Sometimes they face shea butter, they face irrigation problems. I mean, we can't say we don't have the money. We have seen the money that went into Jida. You have seen the money that went into Sada. Those monies could be used to help these people. But where is the money?
I'm going to have both of you respond to the same question. Now, it wouldn't only be coming up with the policies, but then also working on the psyche of the girls to stay there, because she's seen her sister or friend come down to Accra and come back like you, the example you gave, and came back with a mobile phone. I want the same. The young people of today, we all like that. We want it quick and now. And so you put up the policies, all right, just as some of the NGOs are doing. They come up with all sorts of business ideas and then set them up, but we end up seeing them here. How should we ensure that these girls, after we put the policies in place, in fact, will stay there? I'm going to start with you, Samuel.
Yes, there's one thing. I think the NCCE should take this role in educate these people in the north. Constant and continuous community education. Okay. From area to area, through the use of drama, plays, and seminars, to this all constantly. We can achieve something without persistent how do you call it, effort. We have to. When we do that, these people wouldn't be coming here. Constant and continuous community education will help these people.
I agree with him on that side. And I also feel that it had to be participatory. You see, we've been dealing with them as an abstract. We don't even involve them. You've got to talk to the people and find out what they want. Now, I feel that we have to have a welcoming office in Agbobushi, or those areas that we know they are. And that welcoming office must be able to take biometric registration of all these people. And then we should give them the national health insurance to be able to access
like we did over the weekend.
Good. For them to be able to access at least healthcare. And then after that, we need to talk to the opinion leaders. You see, for us from the north, we listen to our parents. We listen to our chiefs. And therefore, if the chief and the parents together would agree that it is bad for our children to go out there and do prostitution and live rough, but it is better for them to stay here and continue school, I am sure we'll be getting somewhere.
Aren't some of them also running away from some cultural practices?
You know, people have been using that as I don't know,
is this a fallacy?
No, it's not a fallacy.
It is not a fallacy, but then sometimes we overstretch it. You understand? We overstretch it. I mean, that thing has been on for so long that you can't say that is the reason why they're running now. You understand? Those are cultural things that we have to talk to people about to change their attitudes. But then we cannot say that the children are running away because they're taking them and giving them to husbands. For God's sake, in Accra, we have 13-year-olds getting married, 14-year-olds having babies. You understand? Do they run away? They don't. They still stay at home. Now, that tells you that there is really something wrong. Now, someone says the FGM. FGM is practiced there, it is bad, it is there. And then you ask the elders, why do you do it? And they give you various reasons. It's to stop the woman from being promiscuous. But then at the end of the day, you still have hundreds of the girls getting pregnant. So what have you done? So it is better for us to be there, giving them the sex education, educating their parents, their peers, as to how to let them be better people, than actually just lumping the whole lot of them and saying that because they give them out into early marriages, that's why they are there. That's why they are running here, because they are getting something.
So, Samuel, in your dealings with these young girls, is that a reason they come down? It's just a fallacy?
Yes,
we're running away from the problem.
I can say estimated about 2% of that cultural attitude or cultural issues in the north. I have spoken to 3 of them. They told me somebody wanted to marry them. They wanted to give her in marriage, and she is actually not interested in that particular man because the man is far older than her. So she has to run away to a friend who happens to be a teacher who was supposed to advise her and say, oh, stay behind or come and help me. So the best place for her to come is Accra, and she is here. And the FGM
find out too. Why. You see, there is a reason behind someone in the north giving out a child. You understand? They will tell you, we can't look after the rest of the children. That's always the thing. So it comes back to the same policies. If we don't have policies in place that will give parents work to do, they will continue to sell off their children.
I have something that baffles me. The fact that it is only girls who are in the north who are affected by the situation in the north. Why does it seem that it's always the girl that moves down?
No, the men are also. Most of them, when you come to where I live, you see most of the gardeners are from the north, and they have also migrated to Accra. So it's the same issue. There's no work there. There's no work there. So let us move some of the manufacturing companies to the north, and they can get something to do, and they wouldn't run down here.
What are your final word?
Yes, my final word is that, you know, in about, I think between 1990 and 1995, social welfare, together with the community development agencies, they did a pilot kind of project, and they realized that when you give them money, you're actually wasting your time, because what happens is that they will go and they will come back. So the only thing left now is for us to try and bring back those things that would give them the jobs, like the rice mills, the oil mills, the husbandry, industrialized agriculture and industrialized husbandry. That is what is going to keep them in the north. And education. They need education.
And I think we should also consider implementing a lot of the things we have said, because Government after government says we're going to the north, we are doing ABC, but implementation becomes a problem.
You know, the problem is that it's very easy for you to actually go to the north and say, I'm doing this, and nobody checks on you. So everything is, we vote so much money towards the north, and then nothing gets done. Just like SADA.
But is there anything, you know, persons in the north could do for themselves? Is there anything, or is the situation is just as, I don't know the north.
No,
is the situation is just as hopeless as we're making it sound?
The situation isn't hopeless. But the situation needs a bit of support. Because if you're a parent and you really want your child even to go to school, and you cannot even give the child a dress, or you cannot even feed the child, how do you expect that child to go to school? So it is something that at least the state will have to help in one way or the other. You understand? Capitation grants went there, and you should see, look, Joy, I think you should make a trip up north and look at classrooms. Look at where children have to walk miles to get to the schools. And then they get to the schools hungry and tired. And they're thinking of how they're going to walk back. And when it's rainy season, how are they going to go? Now, these same children will write exams with people who are in Morning Star, and the rest, and you expect them to pass and go to senior high schools? Please.
Right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time here on Eustace. And hopefully we'll look at this matter with some serious attention from now on. It's been like this for too long.
No, because we do ad hoc.
Yes.
Knee-jerk.
Way too long. Absolutely.
Yes. Knee-jerk
Solutions.
Yes.
And absolutely. Right. We've been talking about the menace of Kayaye, and I've been telling you it doesn't seem to want to go away anytime soon. And we've identified the problem here. It's because we don't have the will to help our brothers and sisters in the north.